Hey guys, welcome back to the Dating Doc TV. My name is Nadia, and today I have a very special guest. His name is Sam from the Trick or Treat movie. If you're familiar, if you're wondering where I got him at Spirit Halloween when they had their sale. So, in honor of spooky season, I just had to bring Sam out because why not? That's what he's here for. It's decoration, purpose. So, hope everybody is having a great week. It's Thursday. I know it's the evening. Some of you guys might be watching football. Or make sure you guys have your fantasy football lineups set up if that's something you're into. So, let's just get right into it. Why is dating a dumpster fire right now? Like, why is it? Like, I know you're thinking, like, oh my God, it's like a million reasons because this, because that, because this, and that. And you are probably right. Like, probably what you are thinking is what I'm about to also show you. So let's just get right into it. Why is dating a dumpster fire? Well, there are about 4 to 5 main reasons why this is happening right now. So here's number one. Are we living in a digital nightmare? So what I mean by that is if you've ever wanted, to feel both wanted and maybe not so wanted, you got to get on the dating app. So, you're on the dating app and you're like, oh my gosh, I have all these options, just at my fingertips, swipe right, swipe left. I like you, I don't like you. Maybe I kind of like you, maybe I kind of don't like you. Well, it doesn't matter because I'm just swiping away on a picture. But then that's also the same place where, you feel like I have an infinite amount of options. And then also it's a same space to feel not so great about yourself. Like, oh my gosh, like I do have all these options and still like nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to, engage in a conversation, and then it goes back to the topic of like, well, who should start the conversation first, aka why Bumble was made. And like that's why the women start the conversation, etc. But I want you to think about this question and answer for me in the chat. Do you feel like you are living in a digital nightmare? Do you just feel like when it comes to dating and relationships that maybe going the digital route isn't so great anymore? Because there's been lots of studies that have came out recently that are just all about nobody wants to be on the apps anymore. They're not fun for people. They'd rather just take their chances meeting people in person. And I feel like that is a very, very valid response and reason because sometimes just being on apps just feels you get the same thing over and over again and the same responses over and over again and nobody wants to go through that, right? So right into it, this is part of it. The social media illusion, right, Sam? The social media illusion. So we're just, when we're on social media, we all have perfect lives. Everything is beautiful. Everything is awesome, online. And I read a story online that was talking about, long story short, a male went on a date with a woman and he looked at her Instagram first and he was like, oh my God, your Instagram is amazing. Like, it looks like you live this lavish life and you do this and you do that. And comes out the reality of it was they didn't go on a date too because he found out that her life was a lie and she's broke. She lives with her parents and the only reason why she has that lavish life is because she just seeks out validation and she's just crippling in credit card debt. So, it's one of those things where, yeah, social media is an illusion, but some people's lives might actually be like that, which I guess is awesome for them. But I know I'm the same way. I definitely post a mix of this is me being like super pretty and awesome. And then here's another one of just me being, just normal me in normal clothes, just talking about something just random or whatever I was thinking about. For example, I did a review on the Krusty Krab collab with Wendy's, the Krabby Patty collab, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. So if you have tried that, let me know what you think because I feel like it's so not worth the hype. But anyways, so going back to the social media illusion, I want you to think about this and you can drop a question or a thought in the chat. How many times have you been on a date with someone and you meet them and they are not what they look like? or they're not what they act like maybe online they're super bubbly, they're super outgoing, they're all about this, they're all about that, they frequently go to the gym, or they frequently post about being healthy and fit, or they frequently post about helping out at volunteer organizations, and then you meet them in person and they're just on their phone, could not care to engage in a conversation. They just are just dead silent, and their whole life is basically just encompassing whatever is on their phone. They're just like this. So you could be talking to them and they're like, hey, yeah, so what are you doing? And they're just like, it was okay. Wait, what'd you say? Wait, say that again. Wait, hold on. So that gets very annoying very quickly. So if you do have a date coming up, I would strongly encourage, when you're with the date, really make the most out of it. Or if you attend a speed dating event like ours, make the most out of it and make sure that you're truly, truly engaging with people, because that's what it's all about. So I have a couple of videos that I'm going to show you guys today that is over this topic. And let's see the first one. Let's see
Let's talk about
what
why dating is
this
so hard
TikToker
in
has to
2024. Now,
say
number one, I'm
about
going to say
it.
the dating app. Dating apps make it really easy to connect with anybody and everybody within a certain mile radius of where you are. So if you don't like everything about somebody, it is so easy to just go on to the next. The media sets unrealistic expectations. When you see all these movies, you picture that being how you want your relationship to be. Watching these types of movies will skew your expectations. This will lead you into thinking that dating in the real world is just how it is on the big screen. Ghosting. Now, there's so many people that ghost nowadays. It is actually insane. It's just crazy how people just don't have the courtesy to just have enough respect to just let someone know that they can't make it. This is actually a huge problem, and I don't see it getting any better, to be honest. Some people just want to hook up, and most of the time, people aren't transparent about that. But I feel like this can also confuse a lot of people, and this could also lead to breadcrumbing as well. People are picky nowadays. A lot of us don't really know what we want, and then we think we know what we want, we get it, and then we don't think we want it anymore. Most of us have the mentality of grass is always greener on the other side. It isn't always greener on the other side. I think this is something that we have to take into account too. Caring isn't cool. No, you want what you can't have, and everyone knows it. Everyone plays hard to get. Everyone acts like they don't care. Everyone plays the game of like, oh, I'm gonna let him text first. I'm gonna let her text first. Oh, she's calling, I'm not gonna pick up yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit. No one wants the other person to know that you like them. Mind games are so common nowadays, and this is such a big reason as to why it's so hard this day and age. Dude, people really don't know how to hold conversation. How many times have you gotten approached with just like a hey or a hi or a what's up? And this is on social media, this is just in general. A lot of people don't know how to open a conversation with like a catchy pickup line. So it is very hard to find someone interesting nowadays. So that's why I think dating is so hard in 2024. But let me know what you think in the comments.
So let me know what you think of his video in the comments. And we're just gonna keep going through other reasons why dating right now is can be so, so challenging. So, part of the things that he was saying, going into now this the illusion of connection, he was talking about, I've heard many guys say this to me before, where they talk about, well, it is hard to meet someone interesting. And I know that is very, very biased and it's very subjective, depending on who you are and what that person does or how they talk to you or what they say their interests are, but you have to find some kind of common ground. And then I think before and after you find that common ground, it's okay if there isn't any common ground, then you just kind of move on and you're like, you know what, maybe this person isn't for me and I will, continue to meet somebody else. Right. But I feel like nowadays people just, we think so just on the surface. And I think that leads to connections being lost or connections being dropped or just no connections happening at all. So with this illusion of connection, it's the rise of, we're in the digital age, everything is on our phone, everything's on our laptop, everything is on some kind of screen, you know so we feel like we're super connected because we're like, oh well, I'm on this and I'm on that and I'm on Snapchat, TikTok, or whatever you name it, blah blah blah, right? And you feel like, oh yeah, I can connect with this person because I will DM on Instagram. I will Snapchat them all day. We'll send each other funny TikToks all day. But, what kind of actual meaningful conversations were happening during that? probably nothing, right? Other than like a hey, what's happening, or hey, what's up, or hey, what are you doing, right? So because of all of this, short form content that we have, you know, and short form content is going to be here to stay for a very, very long time because short form content is what's thriving right now. People want to get their bits of information. They want to get them fast. They want to see the information now. It has to pop to them. And if it doesn't pop to them, they're like, okay, next thing, right? So I know we've probably all done that, where if it's like we see something that's not that interesting, we're going on to the next, scrolling up, scrolling to something else. Or we see something catches our eye and we're like, you know what? I do want to invest 15 to 30 seconds to watch this or however long that clip is. So because of all this short form content, sometimes that takes away from, hey, like, let's just have a conversation and let's enjoy like face-to-face connection, face-to-face connection. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your voice. I really want to actually, deeply engage with, whatever we're talking about, even if it's just small talk. Small talk is a very, very underrated thing that you can do if you're single or in a relationship, because it's the very small connections that help a relationship or help build one, because you're taking the effort to really talk about someone and talk with them. And it doesn't have to be about something deep. It can be about something funny. It could be about something that just happened, in your day. It could be about the weather. It could be about like, oh, I want to see this movie, aka I want to see Terrifier. It's just the very, very small things make a difference in engaging with somebody. Like I said, it doesn't have to mean that some people feel like, oh my God, I have to, like, we have to trauma dump, or we have to, like, I just have to spill my beans like all right now, and that's not the case. Small talk is really just what it is in the name. It's just small talk. That's what we want to hear as humans. We just want that connection. And yes, it is definitely really hard to do that right now with, everything just being on our phone and on the screens. And it's just, how do we move forward from that? Or how do we attempt to show connection, right? That's definitely the most important thing. So let's see another video on this topic.
Why is dating so hard?
Because guys, Gu- guys, dating's hard because women just don't know how to date these days.
And that's true. Speak on that.
Okay, so what can women do better?
I'm kidding. That was a joke.
So why is dating hard?
Dating is hard because I think we have too many options these days.
And that's true.
I think he wants to be on the show. Oh, you want some good content? Okay. Okay, I'll tell you something that I don't really understand is why guys on dating apps use photos that are 7 years old.
The same reason I'd say women use photos of them weighing less.
Wearing less?
Weighing less.
Weighing less. Got it. So are there a lot of women you're meeting in real life off the apps that are weighing more than what they look like in their photos?
Essentially, sometimes, yeah.
Yo, that's fucked up.
So let me know what you think about that video. That was definitely a different opinion, a different vibe. And I have personally ran into that encounter of, I think I'm gonna meet this person, and then I see them, and then here comes Sam. No, I'm just kidding. So I meet this person and it's like, how old are you again? Or and they tell me and they're like, oh yeah, those pictures from a while ago. And it's like, how long? Because it really feels like those pictures were from like 10 years ago. And 10 years ago you is not you present day. So I don't even want to say I take pride in this because I feel like that's not even the right way to say it, but I use up to date pictures, and I'm in the content creator space, so I'm frequently always posting videos and pictures. So, you will definitely see a up to date version of who I am, and I just feel like it's fair that that happens on both sides. But, you can let me know what you think about it in the chat. So, anyways, so going into so ghosting is not something that's new, but ghosting is being phrased now as the new kind of heartbreak. And it's because it's just so easy to do it. I'm not going to accuse, anyone watching the pod that you've done it before, but a lot of people do it, and it's because it's a easy thing to do. When there's a lack of emotional connection, then it's easy for people to do this. It's easy for people to just ghost you entirely when there's no connection involved. And this goes back to what we just talked about, which was just, the illusion of, oh, we're so connected, we're so invested, and you're not. You're really not. So ghosting is the new heartbreak, and it's heartbreaking for the people that are into you. So, if you're on the other end of that and, you're just playing games with somebody, or you're just like, oh, I'm not going to respond to them for like 5 days and I'll get back to them when I feel like it, that other person that's waiting for you to message back, they're the ones that are getting affected by it. They're the ones that are like, oh my gosh, like, what did I do? What did I say? Or what did I not say? So, I strongly advise be very, very considerate, you know, and I feel like that's also hard nowadays too, because, everyone's like, well, they did this to me, they did this to me. And, that's also one of the reasons why relationships don't last or why they don't start, because people like to play the comparison game. Okay. Meaning people like to be like, well, my ex did this, or so and so used to do this for me, or hey, Sarah's boyfriend does this for her. Why don't you do that for me? So when you start doing the comparing and pointing the fingers, that's not a good sign. And that's not a good thing to do in general. That totally defeats the purpose of, those meaningful connections and enjoying each other's time. Because when you want to be together, you want to go on a date, or you want to be in a relationship, it's all about enjoying each other's company, enjoying each other's words, enjoying each other's time. It's not about, oh, let's bicker, or it's not about like, oh, let me compare you to someone else. So maybe that way you'll change and then that'll make me feel better. That's totally not what it's about. And I feel like those are the little things that make relationships crumble, or if you're single, that they just make relationships malform. And then you just kind of leave just like, like a sour feeling in someone's mouth because of it, because it's just like, great, they're already bringing up their exes, or they're bringing up like, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that, or I wish you did this, and I wish you did that. And then, it's not fun. And like this says at the very bottom, ghosting is so common that if someone actually tells you, if they actually tell you that they're not interested, that is a blessing. That is a blessing, because at least they told you, and at least and you can move on. And there we go. That's it. End of story. Instead of waiting around, thinking this, thinking that, thinking, what didn't I do? What did I not do? Right? So if you don't like someone, just tell them. Let me know what you think about that in the chat. If you don't like them, just tell them. Just tell them. And trust me, it's way more respectful than you think. If you don't like someone, just tell them. So we got one more video to show you guys about the topic. This is a little bit more about what we're talking about and how you invest in relationships, or how you don't invest in relationships. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
You can have all the love in the world with someone, but if you don't have a container, aka a marriage, a commitment, a relationship to protect the love, then the love is meaningless. A container keeps the love. If we love each other, but we don't have a proper container to maintain and keep the love, then he can love me all he wants. I can't see it. I can't feel it. He does have love for me, but I don't even know where it is, because he is not committed to entering a container, aka a commitment with me. So in actuality, it doesn't even matter. If someone is not willing to enter a container with you, then their love is meaningless. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't love you. Oh, he never actually loved me. That's attempting to make the world black and white when I believe it to be gray. There's problems and traumas people have that prevent them from entering a container with people, but it's actually actually just not worth pondering. This container keeps and protects the love. Now, I can take a hammer to this and destroy the container. Containers aren't infallible. They're not like immortal. They can break, they can fall apart, but this does protect your love from all of the craziness of life. Someone can have love for you, but this container is what actually protects the love. And if someone isn't willing to enter it with you, there is greater love out there for you.
Wow. Let me know what you think about that one in the chat. So he's just, saying, encompassing that, relationships are an investment, and they are. And it's not for everyone. Not everybody wants to invest the time, wants to invest money. Not everyone wants to invest all those little things in it. It's for some people, it's not for others, and just going back to the ghosting, take that into consideration. If you don't like them, just tell them. Just tell them. Now, so we just talked about why is dating a dumpster fire? Why is it a dumpster fire? Sam, why is it a dumpster fire? Well, there is many reasons why it is a dumpster fire. And the list goes on and on and on. But what's the remedy to this, right? Like, what is the solution? You're like, well, now what? So what's the solution? Honestly, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. So, here at the Dating Doc, we promote in-person relationships. So the best thing that people are doing, the best use of your time is to ditch the apps and go back to meeting people in real life. Because that is, what we are moving towards. It's just easier to do it. Yes, it's easier said than done to actually, go to one of these events. But people who come to our events and other speed dating events in general, they always feel so much better afterwards because you're getting off the app and you're meeting somebody in person, and that is just way more meaningful in itself. Why is it more meaningful in itself? Because you get to meet somebody in person, and depending where you're at, you can meet maybe like 10 women, 10 males, or maybe it's double that, or maybe it's triple that. And that time that you invested on the app, now you just met 10 to 20 eligible singles in your area or wherever you're at. And you will know right then and there if you still want to talk to them or if you don't want to talk to them, right? And at least, instead of just, mindlessly just scrolling, now you're actually talking to someone, making an attempt at a real life in-person human connection, which is what it's all about, right? This is why the Dating Doc exists and other places as well. So I encourage you, if you're in the Austin or San Antonio area, to look at our Eventbrite to see what's coming up, because you could be tired of being on apps, because a lot of people are. So if you're tired of being on an app, why not try in-person dating? I know because of, COVID and all of that, some people's anxieties and social anxieties have gone up. But this is the perfect way to help break that shell. This is the perfect way to get you out there to meet people. And, the more that you do this, this is practice for you. This is practice. So I'm not saying you have to go out to a speed dating right now and you're going to meet your match. That's probably not going to be the case. But what are you going to gain from it? In-person connections. Maybe you meet a new guy or girlfriend out of it, right? Maybe you meet some new friends. Maybe you just enjoyed practicing your social skills, practicing talking to men or women. Those are important skills when you're out, going on dates or doing any kind of social events. So if you find something that you can gain out of these events, which I believe everyone can gain something from these in-person events, then I would highly, highly encourage you guys to go. And like I said, if you're in the Austin or the San Antonio area, you can scan that QR code that is at the very top so you can get information on tickets, okay? So I wanted to briefly mention that we have our singles scavenger hunt coming up, okay? This is in San Antonio. This is at the Lock and Terra Mall. It's going to be nice weather. It's going to be in the evening, so you can come meet new people while you're also doing a little scavenger hunt. It's always super fun to see groups of people mingling, and then we have usually a little mixer afterwards that you can stay if you would like. And then also coming up right after, we have the singles pub crawl, okay? So this is still emphasizing in-person connections, and yes, this is super fun, and it's in the evening time. And the last one that we did, we had over 60 participants. It was super fun. We went to different bars all along a certain area, and just a lot of really fun in-person connections, and everyone's experiencing a new part of town, especially if they don't live on that area. They're meeting new people, they're making new friends, and they're just having a good time as they go through all these bars. So if you're interested in that, that is also available to check out. So one more thing before we wrap up today, we do appreciate any donation that you would like to send to us. We do have different donation tiers, and we do have incentives for people who show us the love and gratitude. We appreciate you guys so much, and we appreciate that you guys tune in to our shows and our shorts. We love it all. We appreciate your support and you guys subscribing to our channel, and always looking forward to what is coming up next. So this has been a super fun episode about why is dating a dumpster fire. I hope you learned something new. So this is where I have to say thank you all for coming out. Leave any questions or comments in the chat. Remember, QR codes at the top for the tickets. And it's time for me to say goodbye and happy spooky time. Hopefully you guys can do some fall themed events.